Do you ever struggle with productivity, remembering ideas, or planning future projects? Then this video is for you. I have been trying to perfect the perfect notebook/planner for your business ideas, your school, your personal life for the past 7 years. So I wanted to share some of the tips with you. The perfect way to take notes is always a work in progress because life changes, maybe your work does too. But I think I've found a few very simple categories that can help everyone. Let's start off with the actual notebook itself. This one is from one of my favorite stores called Muji. It is a see-through cover notebook which you can add your own pages to. I chose checkered because I think they're the most convenient ones. And it just attaches with this spring. The first and most important thing to do is choose different categories. And this is going to be the core of your notebook. This is the most crucial thing for your notebook and what I usually struggled with because it's difficult to perfect the best categories. So I've taken a lot of inspiration from the things I've learned from podcasts and reading books and different influencers who are pretty good at this. Category number 1 is called personal space. This is going to be for your thoughts, your feelings. It's going to be your diary and your cornerstone of dealing with your mental health and everything happening around you in your emotional world. Here, I mostly like to talk about my days, write some gratitude journaling, and vent, talk about boys, talk about life, all the stresses I have. This is the place to just let everything out without any judgment. I have chosen a green little thing that says PS as in personal space to indicate where that is in my notebook, and that is one of the first pages we have. So I'm not going to show you my actual writing because it is my personal space, but I'll walk you through some categories that I've been working on in this specific part of my notebook recently. So I recently signed up for this fashion course through one of my friends who is a designer. So I've been writing down and answering some of the fashion questions she's given out to me. One of my favorite pastime hobbies is poetry, both writing it and then just finding cool poetry from other people. But in my personal space, I usually just get inspired by something, have a little moment, cry a little bit. Then as I mentioned, it's just everyday feelings. Let's say you are frustrated today, or maybe something didn't go your way. Maybe work got into your head. So it's just up space to let everything out. As I said, judgment-free, just write about anything. And then the fourth thing is gratitude or manifestations or anything you want to be thankful for or see in the future in your life. And then I kind of mix the last thing up. It can be either in my personal space or also inspiration or project, whatever. This kind of goes through all the categories. Is definitely a to-do list. That is incredibly important. Make a small, doable to-do list every single day and then maybe make a longer one for the week or the month. But try to write down actually achievable goals for every single day, and that will make you much more productive, I promise you. So the second category I like to call inspiration, even though it's not entirely true. This category is all about the things you want to learn, the things you have learned, the things you want to remember, and maybe like cool facts you want to use on people sometimes. So under this category, we have books we have read, maybe like a little book review or some fun quotes you want to write out of it. So the second one is inspiration, where you can write out different quotes, maybe not related to books, maybe something your friend said, maybe it's a lyric from your favorite artist. It's anything that you find interesting and want to remember. So the third one is extra studies. I study psychology, so that is my main focus of interest right now. So I like to listen to different podcasts or seminars and write things down from that. So that's something I can improve my studies with. I can look back at and get inspired again and realize how much I've actually learned over the course of a year. And as you can see here in my little notebook, this one says P because it was originally made for my psychology texts and studies and extras. So that's just kind of stayed there, but we're gonna call it inspiration. In my previous video, I talked about a book called 101 Essays to Change the Way You Think. And this has been one of the biggest parts of my inspiration part of my notebook. So this has consisted mostly of quotes from different books or different podcasts. Then actual notes from my psychologist when I went to therapy. She is my psychologist and my friend, so we not only talk about my personal issues, but also about different theories and different books I could work on for my studies. Then also a hobby of mine is science. So I like to keep up with the things that are happening around the world. So I think it's always important to keep a few interesting facts in your notebook, and then maybe once a fun trivia comes around, that's what I'm always prepared for, in a bar night, and then you can be like, oh, I knew this, I had it in my notebook, so I remember. And then, as I said, it could be any other inspiration. You can make a little mood board, you can have a little collage that you cut out from different magazines. Anything that makes you inspired and smarter goes. Then the third category is called project board, and I actually got that from this one guy I found on TikTok. I'm gonna put his name here, he's really cool, check him out. He does little notebooks that you can actually buy as planners. So project board is where you're gonna work on all your existing projects and future things you want to do. Let's say you are an art student, or you want to renovate your house, or you want to start that side business or little YouTube channel. This is where you're gonna put out all the ideas so they are a bit more clear to you. So here we have ongoing projects that you're working on right now, future projects that you want to pursue, let's say in the next week, month, or year. Sorry for my handwriting, by the way. And habit tracking if you feel like it's worth your time and it's something you want to do. Could also be just an everyday habit tracker or over these course of these projects. And the third category is by far my favorite one. Here I'm going to show you my actual project board that I've been using for school, so I let you in on my actual secrets, okay? So here, it's just this fun little way on how to separate your courses. So I have semester 2 and semester 3 right here. Then I've done some Latvian calculations on how much time I need to do all these things, and I'm very behind. But just to make it more fun and kind of easier to oversee, I have put the name of the things I need to do, and then this tiny little bar to see how far I think I've come in actually finishing the course or the thing I'm doing. So it's just this more visual space to kind of imagine what you have to do. And this goes for anything. This can be for school, it could be for work, it could be for personal projects, it could be for your kids, for planning meals, anything. And as you can see here, I've decided not to take extra English. I hope my English is good enough. I hope so. And then if you feel like doing a habit tracker also, this is something you can do also with the bars. It could be numbers, it could be actual drawings. And then the fourth and last category, because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves, is business planner. That's going to be all your professional things. It doesn't always have to be an actual business. It can be this tiny YouTube channel that you want to pursue. So the most important one is definitely ideas. So you're gonna write them all out so you never forget them, and then start working on them one by one. You're gonna have different schedules and deadlines so you can actually see how your project is going, and you know that, oh, on the 14th of May I need to come out with this specific thing. Then you also have your overall plans, and I call them texts because if you are working on this said project, you can actually write down specific sentences, specific keywords you want to say in your video, specific emails you want to write out, all tiny details. Here, I like starting with this kind of like brain dump, just letting all the ideas out. So usually my first page is just random words or inspiration or tiny quotes. So I just remember what I want to make a video out of. Then the second page I use for actual structure. Let's say we're working on a YouTube channel like mine right now. I try to release one video a week. That means 4 videos a month. And I like taking this kind of monthly schedule. It works better for me. I split it into weeks, and then let's say last week was quotes from books. This week, talking about notebooks. Next week, going on an adventure. Anything is just kind of broad. Then, as my third page or third category of this said business planner is an actual detailed plan for one of my videos. So let's say I took this notebook idea, the video I'm making now. How do I plan it? First thing I write is keywords. So I just write down tiny little things that I will actually schedule out. This kind of depends on personal style. I like using scripts for my videos. I'm usually naturally a pretty good speaker, but when it comes to YouTube, my brain just seems to shut off and I remember anything I want to say and it doesn't make sense. Also, English not my first language. Sometimes things get messy. So writing an actual script, just structuring out specific sentences or almost specific sentences is good. Then the third thing I wrote down is things I need and how to fit them. That's very oversimplified. Basically is the things I actually need to film this video. Let's say my gear, a really nice location, the notebook, good lighting, anything like that. And then how to fit them is basically how to fit them into my calendar or into my day when you're doing 100 other things. I basically travel for a living, so this can get very difficult. Right now, I'm very thankful to be in my mom's apartment with this very nice view around me. But it is difficult to find a time where I can actually be alone with good lighting, with good sound, no one bothering me to film a video. And the fourth one is dates or a date. That is optional. For me, I just get very excited if I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna release this on that specific date, let's say a Saturday. Then I have more motivation to do it. A little bit of pressure, but not too much. But I think actual accountability with a specific date, and I know that if I want to become more consistent, I need to post once a week, right? Having real dates can be very, very helpful. And then sometimes I like to leave a few pages at the end of my notebook that I call just extra. When you do kind of perfect the perfect notebook, one of the things that really get to my head is needing to follow these specific plans. Let's say I have a really nice business schedule, but there's just this one tiny detail that I don't know where to fit in. And that just kind of, doesn't scratch that itch in your brain, and it kind of like gets too much. So it is nice to leave a space that is just extra, like an actual random space of everything. Or honestly, it can be anything that comes to your mind, anything you want to. It's yours. It's your space. So that's the summary of my notebook. I've realized that a lot of the things I've done before in my life have been just overwhelming. I've tried like digital Notion calendars where you can build out this perfect system for everything in your life. But then it ends up taking more time to make this planner and write things down in your planner than actually doing the things you need to do. So keeping it simple yet organized is the best way to go. So I hope some of this helped you. Mwah.